Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined with my brother Kevin Makobura. Makobura, habari gani?
Good evening. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Nashukuru.
Ehe.
Waligani, how are you doing over there?
Mi niko salama, niko kwa Kiswahili tunasema ni kwema, na sioni jambo ambalo labda naweza lalamikia. Mi nashukuru venye umesema hapo awali, kwa maisha na kwa siku ya leo. Labda kama wewe ndio uko na jipya ambao labda unaweza katuelezea, na wasikilizaji wetu tujue kwa nini.
Huku kwetu tunasema niko mzima, niko welowelo, niko gudaguda vile mwenzetu
Eh,
Steve Simple Boy
mm,
alivyotuonyesha ama alivyotufundisha. Hivyo
eh,
ndivyo basi sisi pia ile wakati tunajibu maswali kama hayo
yes.
tunaiga
Eh,
vile tu alitufundisha, kwa sababu yeye ni mwalimu
u- u-
wa
u-
lugha ya mtaa.
unataka kusema kwamba Steve amekuwa mfano bora kwa jamii katika tuseme kutunga maneno ambayo labda zinakuwa na ucheshi ndani zao. Okay, hiyo
Kweli ana hiyo ujasiri, ana hiyo uwezo, ana
eh,
hiyo is blessed in a way that he's actually, I would advise him to get in comedy, because
oh,
more of his conversation,
yeah,
there's some humor in
yeah.
the wording that he uses. So if probably would also shift to comedy,
Mhm.
then I think he'll have a good following, because
Yeah.
he has what it takes for someone to become a comedian.
Okay, thank you so much. Ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii kushukuru wenzangu ambao wako pale katika comment section. Gibson Corner, thank you so much, and Brenda, thank you so much for watching. Makubura, sijui kama umepata nafasi ama ulipata nafasi kusikiza wimbo wa Mashiftas. Ni wanamuziki wa kitambo kidogo, hizo nyakati walikuwa naitwa kizazi kipya katika mziki, lakini saizi hatuwezi waita kizazi kipya, na walikuwa wimbo wao ambao labda watu walikuwa wamependa sana, ilikuwa inaitwa hii system ni ya majambazi. Hii system, sijui kama ulipata nafasi katika shairi yao. Alikuwa anasema mtoto anakula mahindi, unasikia harufu ya njugu. So sijui kama ulipata hiyo nafasi kusikiza Mashifters.
Okay, labda unipe tu stanza moja
mi, mi,
ndio nishikanishe vizuri. Unajua wewe pia ni mweledi wa kuimba na nina imani tena
mimi
na uwezo wako. Hebu
eh,
stanza tu.
ilikuwa inasema hii system ni ya majambazi, maloya majambazi, madaktari majambazi, mtoto anakula mahindi, unasikia harufu ya njugu. Alikuwa anaitwa hivi, ndio venye si ufanya. Ulipata nafasi kusikiza wimbo hizo?
Nilisikiza. I think hao ndio wale walianza lugha ya mtaa, kwa sababu what they did was they started having these conversations when the generations had not really embraced or welcomed hii lugha ya mtaa. But I think it was also a good thing during that time, because remember, lugha ya mtaa mostly it is used to more of the youths or the people who are still in their youthful age, it always resonates so much with them. And I would say that the terms that they used in those songs, of course, partly influenced a lot, because they actually opened the way for this other generation to continue the conversation started. So that is just that they were the pioneers of young people coming up with this, with their talents, also trying to influence and to
Yeah.
use the language to communicate amongst themselves.
Yeah.
That language has consisted as continued, and there is a good number of youths
Mhm.
who are still spreading the message by use of that kind of language.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Kina Steve for Simple Boy are still using it the same. More of the comedian, if you've seen majority of comedians who had who are actually not happy with the ruling, I mean with the running of the government of William Samoei Ruto, some of them used it, that
Mm.
language, to express their anger and also to try and send a message to the people.
Okay, asante sana. Naona ndugu yetu One Dem 99 anasema habari zenyu, mzuri sana kaka, natumai uko vyema ama uko salama popote uliko, na anasema nashukuru sana we kuja kuungana na sisi katika kipindi hii yetu ya jioni. Asante sana. Na pia kuna jambo ambao nimeandika hapo, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, na hii ni ile maneno yani yalisemwa na aliyekuwa rais wa Kenya Daniel Arap Moi, ambayo saizi alishatangulia mbele ya haki. Hello, brother Benson has got a lot of talent. I mean, they can even rap in Kiswahili. Ni kujaribu, unajua dunia ni kujaribu. Labda pali ukipata unaweza pata riziki, utaenda na hapo. Umeuliza mambo ya Miguda. Seemingly Miguda seems to have joined Omosh 1 hour to be among the 100 MPs and VIPs who are going to support Baba in Addis Ababa. We will talk about that. So we're talking of siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, na jambo hili ama semo hili ilisemwa na aliyekuwa rais wa Kenya, ambapo saizi pia tunasema kwamba alishakuwa tangulia mbele ya haki. Siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, na ukiangalia saizi naweza sema kama ni siasa mbaya ama maisha mbaya, na hii inanikumbusha maneno ambayo nani alisema, Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere wakati alikuwa na hotuba wake pale Dodoma, wakati chama cha Mapinduzi walikuwa wanachagua ugombe wa rais. Akasema Watanzania wanataka kuchagua, ama namnukuu, wanataka mgombea ambaye atakidhi mahitaji ya wananchi. Hiyo ndio kiongozi ambao Watanzania wanatafuta. Wanatafuta kiongozi ama mgombea ambaye atakidhi mahitaji ya Watanzania, na akasema kwamba Watanzania wana vitu vingi wanaangalia, na wakasema kama wataipata ndani ya CCM, hiyo ni hotuba yake akiwa kule Dodoma, wataitafuta mahali. Na hiyo inaashiria mimi kwamba nikifikiria alikuwa anajaribu kuangalia uongozi bora ambao inaweza leta maisha bora. Na jambo ambayo nimesema hivi kwa sababu ukiangalia mambo ambayo yametokea ni mingi. Wema Kobura, hebu tuambie, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, kwako ni nini?
Okay, thank you. Siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. I think my explanation for that would be siasa mbaya, when the politician or the people in power, when they're given the opportunity by the people of Kenya, and then
Yeah.
they miss, they tend to miss, the real reason, or the reason why they've been given this opportunity, but instead they tend to do things which are not really okay or helping the people of Kenya. An example of that would be, for example, I don't know whether you watched the case of the former governor of Kiambu,
Ferdinand Coach.
Babalao. Yeah.
Yeah.
Partly, I would equate it to that because this governor was accused of having, embezzled almost 500,000 million. I mean, 500 million. That's a lot of money, half a billion. And you know how big that money is. And you know how many investment or how many lives that money can help to save. And then he was taken through the court system, and the court found that he was guilty.
Mhm.
And instead of the court giving reasonable charges, we are being told that he has an option of either serving for 10 years
12 or
or 12 years, or he pays a bond of around 53 million. And the question is, yes, the amount that was lost was Kenyan money, 500,000 million.
Mhm.
Now you are telling him to pay 53 million. Is that really a problem to him? That is Siasa Mbaya.
Mm.
It is so unfair for a normal Kenyan citizen mwenye pia anatafutia watu wake ama familia wake,
Yeah.
anapoenda pale na anaona kuku ya mwenzake
Mm.
anakiiba ama anakichukua
Eh.
without the authorization of the owner, utapata kwamba mtu mwenye ameiba kuku atapelekwa pale na atapewa kifungo cha maisha.
Mhm.
And the question we are asking is that really what governance is? That is a good example of bad governance. Because what we are saying here is we've got a constitution, we've got laws, but the laws and the constitution is not being followed by the political class. The people who are being subjected to follow, and it seems like the laws were made for the poor, and the wealthiest people, the political class, are not being affected by these laws. A
Mhm.
similar thing we saw when Honorable Waluke was also taken to court, found guilty. He is supposed to be serving his term in prison. But today they are among the people who are out telling the president that, you know what, you are governing very well. There is nothing like abduction. There is nothing like killing. Everything is okay.
Yeah.
And just because of being a sycophant of the president, he is free. He's not serving his jail term. And the question we're asking is, why then did we come up with the constitution? Why then did we come up with the laws? Is it meant for a specific group of people? We are seeing leaders coming up with their own laws, following laws when they think it is right. The laws are there to be followed by every citizen of the Republic of Kenya. But what about the political class? Some of them have been accused of, some of them have killed, and they've been taken to court and charged of murder, case of murder. But what happens? They're still out here. If a normal Kenyan citizen kills, they'll be rot. Actually, they'll be taken to jail and they'll be rotting in jail. And so that is part of what we are saying, that is not what the intentions of the all Kenyan or the all citizens supporting. Something else that I can also say about bad politics, I can equate it to what we are seeing in the National Assembly. I think at times we need to stand with the truth, even if we disagree. But just the same way, I'll still use what is there in the Bible. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar,
Yeah.
and God what belongs to God. As much as we may disagree, but I think the best thing is we should always stand by truth as much as you're going to get hurt, as much as things are not going to be on our way, we need to stand by the truth. It is, to me, if I look at the whole thing that the court said, partly, to me, that is Siasa Mbaya, Maisha Mbaya, partly because the judiciary or the judiciary followed is I mean, that's what we call explanation of what the law says, and then theirs is just to ensure that the laws which are made and everything that is done in accordance with the constitution. And that is the clarification that they gave. Why then would the speaker then come up and say that what was there was not right, that was not well thought of, that I don't know, things we are past that direction, it doesn't really make sense because we have a constitution. Let us respect the constitution. Let us respect the laws of the land. The moment we tend to get out, or the moment we tend to forget that there are laws that governs us, then that is the point where we start doing things which are not really okay, which are not really fair, but instead we'll get to a point where we'll be tutakuwa tunakanyaga hizi sheria ambazo sisi wenyewe tumetengeneza.
Okay, asante sana. Thank you so much, Mr. Makobura. And let me take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Barak. Barak, how are you doing, sir?
Hello, good evening. I am doing well and nice to see you. I hope you are also doing well. And my brother Mark.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak. We are talking about Ali. Before you came in, I was talking about Siasa Mbaya, Maisha Mbaya, and this was a statement that was made by former president, who is the late President Moi, and we want to equate it to what is happening in our country today. Makobura has just mentioned about the Waititu case, where when you look at what is said to have been stolen vis-a-vis what you are paying back as a penalty, how does it quit to good politics? Does it encourage people to continue looting public resources, knowing very well that the amount that you will be charged is way much less than what you get? So it kind of a lucrative business. How is that one going to help in governance or even to control corruption in the country?
Well, Siasa Mbaya, Maisha Mbaya, I think we might interpret that statement differently, or depending on how where we stand, because the process of governance is a process.
Yeah.
And the process of governance, it does not only involve those who are occupying these positions of power. They also involve the citizens. Yeah. So how we have been playing our politics in this country is what Moise was referring as Siasa Mbaya, because look at the individual that we just mentioned, who was allegedly jailed today for 12 years, or pay a fine of around 52 million. How did he ascend to that position? Yeah, that is the question that we should be asking ourselves. Yeah, I had my brother here, Mark, complaining about John Waluke. Do you know that John Waluke was elected even after being convicted? Yeah, because he was convicted when Uhuru was the president. And when we went to 2020 elections, he was re-elected again by the same constituency that elected him. Yeah, if you look at Didmas Baraza, he killed someone and he was elected a member of parliament, and he serves in the parliament right now. Yeah? Look at this country, the member of parliament who was voted as the best performing member of parliament, and who is the most popular leader right now, according to the polls, Babu Owino. He shot a civilian in broad daylight, even though it was at night. And right now, he's the most loved leader in this country. So, what is our role as citizens in terms of ensuring that we have good governance? Good governance will not fall from heaven to Kenya. It will be made by citizens who are electing leaders into positions of power. When we are in the run-up to 2022 elections, with all the sins that Ruto has as an individual, yeah, we leave alone the court cases about Miteshi land, the corruption cases around Kimorere, and even the allegedly killing of the likes of Jacob Juma and all the other things, even though there is no evidence. But those allegations, people still say this is the best for us in our country. Yeah, right now, Rigathi Gachagua is now the darling of the mountain. Yeah, with all the sins that he's associated with. So, what is the role of the citizens in ensuring that we have good governance? Yeah, we should not be electing thieves and we complain that they are stealing. We should not be electing murderers and we complain that they are killing us. We should not be electing night runners and we complain that that we are being bewitched. We have a role to play as citizens of this country to ensure that we have good governance. If we do not play our role as citizens, we will never have good governance, because leaders are a mirror of us who are electing them. They are a mirror of the society. They are a representation, a reflection of the society. Yeah. Therefore, yeah, looking at even when Watito was being sentenced today, some people are complaining that is politics. Why is he being sentenced? Yeah. So, what is our role? We have to ensure that we take up our responsibility very seriously, so that whoever we elect, it is someone who has integrity. Integrity issues is what is bedeviling this country. It's only in this part of the world where you can be accused of killing, you can be accused of stealing, and yes, people will love you more. The more you are accused, the more they love you more, and they reward you by electing you into an office. And then they start complaining, yeah, that our resources are being embezzled. Yeah? We don't have drugs in hospitals. We don't have capitation in schools. And yet, while electing you, they knew all this, but because of voting with emotions, yeah, they were not able to reason and see that this leader is not fit to hold this office. Yeah. So, in terms of ensuring that we have good governance, the responsibility lies squarely upon citizens to ensure that once they get an opportunity to elect people into offices of governance, they elect the right people who can be held to account, and we also appreciate that process of being held to account, and will also appreciate the input of the citizens.
Okay, thank you. Ali, yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Barak. Before you came in again, I was just talking to Makobura, and I was telling him of those pioneers of our celebrity in Kenya. There was this group called Mashifters, and there's their song that ilikuwa inasema hivyo ndivyo si ufanya. Ilikuwa inasema hii system ni ya majamba. Do you know the guys? I remember there was this guy that has like an opening, some kind of like here. I don't know whether you know him. Back in the days.
Yeah, I know the song.
Yeah, system ya majamba. Mtoto, the part, yes. So yes, the Kalamashaka group. The part that was really touching me. He talked about what children being stolen from hospital. That is one. He talked about mtoto anakula mahindi lakini harufu ambayo unasikia ni ya njugu. Yeah. System ni ya majambazi. So coming to that, when we talk about Siasa Mbaya, because always when we talk about Siasa Mbaya, we tend to focus so much on the leadership or the people that we elect, but we don't focus on ourselves as the people who are electing these leaders, So do you think it will reach a point whereby we can correct those mistakes that we are doing repeatedly?
Yes, I believe it will reach a point, but not now, because even if you look at the behavior of the citizens right now, currently, they are focusing the blame on the opposite direction. Nobody wants to take responsibility. Yeah. Even if you go to Mount Kenya right now, they are so bitter with President Ruto, but they are pointing fingers at the president. Yeah. You have done this, you have betrayed so and so, but they are not focusing to who made him the president. Yeah. And even though they were cushioned before, they said it with a lot of pride, that we will wake up very early in the morning and make this guy the president. So once you make a mistake and you do not acknowledge that mistake, and you continue blaming, and in the process of blaming the person, you make another mistake of voting in another person based on emotions, and the cycle continues. So until we will reach a point as citizens and say that no, enough is enough, we have to focus on ourselves. How do we make decisions at the ballot? What influences our decisions at the ballot? What are we looking at? Yeah. When we look at the leader, what do we want from this leader? Yeah. How do we evaluate our political choices? That is the day, or that is the time that we shall make a difference in terms of governance in this country. But as long as we continue pointing fingers at the elected leaders without evaluating how did they end up, yeah, in these positions. Look at right now. Yeah, we are saying that we do MPs. We are calling members of parliament MPs. They did not just land in parliament. They went through the process of electing. They campaigned and they were elected. Yeah, by the same people who are calling them MPs. So what is our responsibility? We are the people who are failing this country because we are not taking our responsibility seriously of ensuring that we have elected the right leaders in office. For example, look at in 2022 when the EACC, yeah, the body that is in charge of fighting corruption in this country, that is mandated, being funded by taxpayers' money. They recommended more than, I don't think, 150 names to IBC. These individuals are suspected to be corrupt. Do not allow them to vie. IBC said, no, that is not our mandate. And they cleared them. And the people of Kenya ended up voting for most of these individuals. Yeah. So it shows you that the backs the people of Kenya, the voters. Yeah. As long as you continue making wrong choices at the ballot, you will continue complaining and blaming others. But until you will, a time will come when we'll start making the right decisions at the ballot, when we'll not vote for someone because of how rich they are or how capable they are to bribe us as the voters to dish out the goodies. As long as we'll stop voting for people based on how vulgar, how vulgar they are. When they open their mouth, they speak vulgar language. Those are the people that we celebrate. Others, they thrive in Muchongo, I know. Or if you go to Western, to Mount Kenya region, how much do you hate Raila Odinga? That gives you a ticket to parliament. Yeah. And if you go to the other side, the story is the same. So as long as we continue voting for people based on emotions, I can assure you the same, and we'll continue blaming others but ourselves.
Okay, sawa sawa. Makobura, nakuja kwako. Niliandika mahali wakati nilikuwa naangalia Siasa Mbaya katika lugha ya Kiswahili. Naweza kusomea tu. Usemi huu unamaanisha kuwa siasa mbaya zenye ufisadi, ukosefu wa uwajibikaji na ubaguzi kusababisha maisha mbaya kwa wananchi. Siasa mbaya zinaweza kusababisha ukosefu wa utulivu, umaskini, ukosefu wa haki. Yeah. So when you talk of Siasa Mbaya, some of the things that, or some of the issues that Siasa Mbaya, bad politics, can cause, one of them is about ufisadi, the major corruption. And when we talk about corruption, the corruption is 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 everywhere. Even you who is paying small amount of money for your process or for you to get services from the government, that is corruption. Yeah. So, and I still connected to his system, the system that we have, that system of Siasa Mbaya. So, Makobura, at what time, even with the Gen Z revolution that came in June last year, at what time will we put our fabric of the nation at first, knowing very well that corruption or ufisadi or uhuru wa uchumi haina ukabila? At what point, at what time, before even we look at who are we electing, we as the people that are being given the mandate to vote, at what time will we first of all put the interest of the country at first before the people that we vote?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to say that, you know, I want to say that the buck stops with the people of Kenya, just like my brother Baraka said. And you've asked that at what point do we start making these changes to ensure that we get good governance? Is that the question? I hope so.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think first, as a people, we need to do what we call, let me first speak as a youth. I think more of the challenges that the people of Kenya face, and especially the youths face, is that there's a high level of unemployment within the country. And this is partly making them to go too low or to bend too low. And this is a problem because they bend too low to an extent that they lowered their dignity. They give the political class or the wealthy people a chance to remote control them. And this is something that has been perfected by the political class because they have ensured that the youths are no longer getting anything that can make them have their own mind, make them, get to a position where they'll have a stand or say no to, movements, corrupt dealings and everything. I think the best thing we should do as a country is first to strengthen institution. And the problem we have is that who is going to strengthen the institutions? Just like Barack mentioned, we've got the EACC, they've got a mandate of ensuring that anybody who has gone against what is stipulated in Chapter 6 are not given the opportunity to go for elections. But they raised these things, they gave a list, and still the IBC said, just as he has said, that that is not their role. And remember, all these institutions are being paid, are being, they are running courtesy of the taxes of the people of Kenya. So what we need to do is to strengthen the institution. And we still have a problem because the people who ask that mandate, the members of parliament and among the political class or people in leadership, they are responsible for ensuring that they strengthen the institution, of which we as a people of Kenya, we've always have a good or a positive mindset when it comes to supporting the institution. But the people in top positions, the people in these institutions themselves, they're also getting into corrupt dealings, and it is becoming so tough for the people of Kenya to ensure that they consistently remind the people responsible to ensure that these institutions are strengthened. If it is, for example, issue of money, the EACC is being given money every financial year. The reason being, we want it to work, but why is it not working? That is the question that we should ask. And so, number one thing that we need to do, of course, is strengthening the institution and establish and empower independent institution that promotes accountability, transparency, and the rule of law. This would actually ensure that we get to a point where we are supporting these bodies like the EACC. And I think the people that we've been giving a chance to lead the EACC, they're also not aggressive and truthful to themselves and to the people of Kenya. They do not actually also respect Chapter 6. And so it becomes tough for them, or it could be that they're not given enough power to fish out the political, figures who are questioned. But that is something that we also need to have a look at. It could be they do not have enough power. It could be that these political people are threatening them. It could be that they are not given enough power to single out or to point out that so and so is not doing what is right. Deny them. That is one thing. Strengthening the institution, number one. And then we should also get to a point where we consistently using platforms available do what we call promoting civic education. The people of Kenya are fully aware of what corruption is. We know. But what we need to do is let us remind each other. When you see a police officer standing by the road and they are requesting for money without even inspecting the vehicles, we've seen them not once but several times. They want you to give them money. They've not even looked at whether you have the insurance or not, and they want money. So what are we supposed to do? If you are a citizen in that vehicle, you should say no to them. You should tell them in their face that no, it is not right. I think if we start promoting, standing up and reminding the people of Kenya in every institution, then probably we will have gotten to ensure that we inform them. We inform both the electorate, the citizens, and this would ensure that anybody in whatever category or whatever position they are holding, there's accountability, and we should also demand for transparency. We should demand to an extent where even if it means going to the streets, we should go there. And also when we get opportunity, like on voting, we should ensure that we vote people who have what it takes, who have the values that we want as a people. Number three, we need to do what we call encouraging political participation. The youths of the Republic of Kenya, majority of them, today we are crying, tomorrow we are crying, tomorrow we'll be going for demonstration each and every year, come, year go. But you'll find that the youths are not participating in the political activities. When it comes to election, youths wamejaa tu hii Nairobi, hawataki hata kurudi makwao. Unapata walichukua kura za kwao, hawataki kuenda kwao wapige kura alafu warudi. Hawataki kuchukua kura so that when we get to the time we are doing election, they have a say. What they will tell you, majority of them, is that hata tukipiga kura it will not count, and I think they have lost hope. What we need to do is encourage them to participate in the political activities. And this is going to ensure that the marginalized group that is among the youth, including women, youth, the minorities, they should actually, this can be achieved through policies that promote equal representation in the political office. And also when we give the youths an opportunity, this would somehow encourage them. So something else that I would also mention is implementing electoral reforms. Free and fair election. The reason why majority of people like the youths are not going to vote is because they're saying the election is already, the results are predetermined. The outcome is already known. So they don't want to waste their time. And we need to really invest on the technology to ensure that the elections that we go through, there is fairness and that the process is free and fair. Something else that they need to do is they should not make the people of Kenya stand for lines the whole day. you know, the youths, they lose this ni wale wako na roho ndogo. Standing on the queues the whole day would make them not wake up to go for those things. So we need to also find a way that we make it a simple, free, and fair, and we do not waste time. Something else that we also need to do is, I think the youth need to be engaged on a serious level. They are, they actually, they're the core. When we want good things in this republic, we need to invest more on youths. We need to talk to the youths. We need to create platforms. And I like what was going on through the X space. I like what was going on through the Facebook and all these other platforms. The youths, that engagement, if we continue with it, siku hizi hata mtu mwenye hajafika 18, they already know who the president is. They already know what he has done wrong and what he has done, right. And that's a good thing. Let us engage each other so that we get to understand everything that is happening in whichever part of the country. And so that is part of what would help us again, and also strengthening media freedom. Very important. We need to have platforms like this one. And when youths, kama youths wameona such kind of platform, they will come. Na wakikuja watoe maoni yao, they feel that we are being listened to. We have that power, and that is something that is very, very important.
Okay, thank you so much.
We solve the problems that we are having.
Asante sana Makobura kwa maoni yako, na asante pia kukupatia mawaidha. Barak, nataka kurudi kwako kwa sababu jambo ambalo tuko nayo hapa ni mambo ya kuheshimu sheria, kwa sababu tunajua sheria, nchi ambayo imejengwa kwa msingi ya kuheshimu sheria ni nchi nzuri. Lakini nchi yetu saa zingine inatutangaza sana, kwa sababu sheria unapata inapatiwa heshima tu kama iko upande wako. Na hii inanileta katika mambo jana ilifanyika katika bunge, kwa sababu koti iliamua ikasema kwamba kuna walio chache na walio wengi. Lakini unapata baada ya hapo spika wa bunge pia anatoa uamuzi wake. Sasa ni wapi ambao tunaweza sema kwamba tunaheshimu sheria, na tukisema kwamba hata hizi upande zote za serikali, mahakama na bunge ina uhuru wake tu binafsi? What is your take on that, and did Wetangula did good?
Well, I don't know if I shall respond in Swahili because you've really spoke very well.
English is okay.
If you look at we have three arms of government: executive, legislature, and the judiciary. And even though each arm is independent, but there is that interdependence. None can exist on its own. None can become an island. So even though there is that independence of institution, or in terms of arms of government, they depend on each other for their own survival. And the main objective is to serve the interest of the country. Now, if you look at the numbers that Wetangula came up with yesterday, they reduced significantly from around 200 plus to around 175, and the other fight 155. It is not the same with when during election, in terms of 2022 elections. So he was doing that according to him. He got the numbers from the register of political parties. I don't know who they wrote to her to confirm if there's any shift in terms of party membership. But that notwithstanding, we've seen a culture where people celebrate a court ruling when it favors their side, but they castigate it when it's against them. So it is something to do with our culture. How do we view a court ruling? I remember, if there is something that the previous regime did well was to respect the decision of you remember when the BBI was rejected by the High Court, and the process stopped immediately. And even though it was being spearheaded by the head of state together with his handshake brother, they did not proceed with that process to force it down to the throat of Kenya, even though the National Assembly and the Senate had already passed it. It was just now, the next step was now the referendum, and everything else was halted at that level. So we are seeing under this regime, that decision was a landmark ruling that wanted to alter the leadership in the National Assembly, and that could have been could have affected the government side, because once the government assumes the roles of the minority, it becomes very, very difficult for the government to have their way in the House, because that will mean even that the minority side, the majority side will be having a lot of influence on what business is conducted in the House, and that is what the Kenya Kwanza side fears, because once they go that direction, the government will have a lot of problems, even though there's what we call broad-based government, which we know is kind of working in favor of Ruto up to now. So I think it was just a way of maintaining status quo for the sake of the executive, and that is why you see that Speaker Wetangula has been having a lot of problems when it comes to being proving to the public that the legislature is independent. He has not been able to prove that to us because of the decisions he has been making in the legislature that are totally biased, supporting is like an extension of the executive. Yep. And that is that's why we are going to have a lot of problems even in the remaining 2 years before we go to another election, because if nothing happens in the parliament the way it is right now, number one, parliament does not enjoy the support of majority of the Kenyans. Parliament does not enjoy, Kenyans don't have faith in parliament because of how parliament has been conducting itself, led by the speaker, Moses Wetangula. Even though he is, as he claimed to be a senior lawyer, but the decision that he has been making, it's not just a requirement for a lawyer to lead the parliament as a speaker. It is because of this is a law-making organ of the country. So being a legislature where laws are made, we expect it to be led by someone who understands the laws very well. And one way of understanding the law is respecting the decisions of the judiciary. That is one way of, because when we have a scenario where the judiciary is not being respected by the law-making organ in the country, then it's going to have to be problematic even to the public. Yeah. So to me, I think we are going to have a lot of problem in the remaining time of this parliament, unless something happens, which I don't know when or how it will happen. Because if nothing happens to parliament, it means parliament is going to survive for the remaining term without enjoying the support of the Kenyans who initially is supposed to be serving the interests of Kenya. We have the finance bill that is coming up very soon in around 3-4 months, and this is just preparing the stage for the country to see how are we going to interpret that finance bill? How are we going to view it? Are we going to see it as something that is going to benefit the country, or are we going to treat it the same way we treated the finance bill 2024? And all this depends with how Wetangula is behaving. The behavior of Wetangula is very key, because we usually say that anointing flows from top to bottom. So if the head is rotten, it means that even the bottom is going to be rotten. Yeah. So we have to something need to happen to this parliament. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, and wacha nichukue nafasi hii kukaribisha dadangu anaitwa Mary Wainaina. Asante sana, and this is what Mary says. Wetangula said the ruling should come from parliament but not from the courts. From the court, what is the use of the court who ruled on their favor over Raila election? They should stand by the law of the land. True. And maybe Barak, before I bring in Makobura in, when you look at how the decisions, especially in the government of Kenya Kwanza, has always been made, where they make their decision based on what favors them. Do this decision benefit the country, or it just benefit a quarter that believes in it? Take, for example, when it comes to the SHA medical care cover, which still has a problem in terms of payment. Who benefits from it? Because the main reason for the SHA was to ease the burden on the Kenyan people. But the Kenyans are not seeing that burden lifted away from their shoulders. The other day, it was about the new funding model that the courts really ruled on, and now they went back to the old model. When you look at this, why is it that it only benefits the people, but the ruling class, but not the people that is meant for those decisions?
You know, it started with the attitude of Kenya Kwanza government when they came in power. If you remember, when these guys came in power, they were saying that they've defeated the system, they've defeated the president, the big families, the first three families combined. They've defeated the people that they thought were so powerful. So when these guys came in office, you remember the attitude from 2022 to around 2024, before the finance bill 2024 was rejected. These guys believed that they are the wisest of the wisest. They are the people who knows what Kenyans need, and Kenyans don't know. And I remember even during the public participation of 2023 finance bill, the chairperson of finance committee said that you don't know what you want, we know. So just listen to what we are telling you. Yeah. So they came in power with the assumption that they know everything, and they are the people who understand what should be done, and no other Kenyan should be given a listening ear. And that is where they started going wrong. And they started now altering the system that have been working very well. Remember, there was no justification for interfering with the finance, with the funding model, the previous funding model. There was no justification at all. Yeah, because if questions were asked, why are you altering this funding and coming up with something very strange, that band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4, there was no justification, because you cannot change our system that is working. You only change a system that is failing, so that you can have justification for rectifying what is not working, so that it can work better. But if the previous funding model was working, what justification did this government had to change it, to come up with this band 1 to band 4? Now look at the NHIF. If we have corrupt elements in the NHIF, the solution is not to do away with the NHIF and come up with a new with the she for SHA. The solution is to deal with these corrupt elements within the system. Yeah, but you do not alter the whole thing and come up with something strange. Yeah, with the aim of trying to raise the contribution of the public to the agency. Yeah, so this attitude that this government came in power with, they've not been able to work on them, because once you have the wrong attitude, yeah, you see the contribution of experts. You say they don't know anything because you are elected. You have the mandate to serve, and you are not serving stones. You are serving human beings with emotions, with ideas. Others have better ideas than yours. That's why we have public participation. Yeah, you don't think because you are elected now you are the most clever person in the land. That is not how democracy works. You have just been given an opportunity to serve. Yeah, and that is why you've seen they've been coming up with everything that is not working, because of their attitude and the wrong attitude that they introduce the things to the public. Once you don't have a strong foundation that you are going to build something upon, that thing cannot work. Yeah. And remember, the new funding model that was stopped by the court, the government went silent. They only reverted back to the old funding when the students stormed anniversary towers and demanded to be given the funds. That's when now they released the funds under the old model. So this government, the only language they listen is to push to the wall. Yeah. So I was hoping that after the demonstration, they might change that attitude, but that is not the case. They're still going on with that same attitude. If you listen to the cabinet secretary addressing the people, even on this shisha issue, they are still adamant that it has to work. And you ask yourself, why is ambassador you force this thing down to our throat, and you can see that evidently it is not working. It is not serving the people. So the government must change their attitude on how they address issues. They must know that they are dealing with human beings. Yeah. If you go to the Ministry of Health, I can assure you the CS is not one of the best. Yeah. But she must understand that he's leading a people where we have even the best brains that has, so that when they come up with this policy, they are flexible to accommodate others' inputs, so that it becomes a better policy that can serve the whole country. Because it is not that they are the people with the monopoly of knowledge, and whatever they want, it's what we must take. No, that is not how things work. They must accept that we have better people with better understanding, with better ideas in the society, so that they can incorporate their ideas to make things work for them. Otherwise, we are going to continue with the status quo until the end of the life of this government.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add one thing before maybe you come in, Brother Ben.
Yeah.
Again, on the issue of SHA, the other day they were telling us that out of 18 million people who are eligible of paying for SHA, they were saying that only 3 million people are paying, and according to them, that there's a possibility of it failing. I think it is not even, they should just go direct to the point and say that, you know what, it is not working. Because if they're saying only 3 million are paying and 18 million are supposed to pay, that means that is just the truth of the matter is it is not working, and very soon utaona wamekuja waseme that hii kitu imekataa. The question we are also asking is the billions that they use to transfer it from the NHIF to SHA, was it really necessary? I think this government spent a lot of money trying to come up with things so that these things should be seen as, the inventions of this government. And that is where they messed, because they spent a lot of money without consulting the people of Kenya. Now that they are stuck, now they're trying to tell the people that, 18 million are supposed to pay, only 3 million are paying. If they were doing the transfer, changing everything, they did not consult the people of Kenya. And this is just one thing. There are several things that they were doing behind the scene without letting the people of Kenya know, because the people of Kenya have that, right to know everything that is being done in their country. But they decided to do it without their knowledge. Now, SHA is not working. People are complaining left, right, and center. In every country, majority of people are saying it is not working. The money they are using to do it, this is money that they would have used to change something positive with.
Yes, thank you so much. And it is quite I don't know how to say it, but it's quite heartbreaking, if you find that's how, like, because if you look at the political class, there are those who feel that everything is working. Yeah, there are those who feel like it's working, and there are those who feel that it's not working. Okay, Mary Wainaina again, thank you so much. And Silas Odhiambo, karibu sana kwa show. I don't know whether you've have an opportunity to watch Professor. Professor is a blogger, and he talks about look comparison. Mostly is based in Bomet. It's called it Somebody Chito Chronicles. I tell you, today I was watching one of his blogging where he was talking of an office where a primary school is. And one question that he asked, and how can the Ministry of Education allow the kids or the students to go to school under that condition? and you are asking the member of parliament around that area. So my question to you, who is in charge of educational infrastructure? Because those places are pathetic. Who is in charge of educational structure, especially when it comes to building of classrooms? And how did it take them so long that in this era where we are, you can still find an office? Go and watch Professor, I think it's Professor TV, an office administration block, and it tells you where we are as a country. I don't know. Who is in charge?
Maybe to give my take and then Bara could come in. You know, the sector that manages education in the Republic of Kenya, I think the last cabinet secretary who did a good work was Professor Magoha, the late. After the late Professor Magoha, the people who have held that position, they are actually not aware of what is happening under that docket. They know nothing. That is what I can say. As much as some of them are doctors or professors, they do not understand how that docket needs to be, to be run. If you remember the time of Magoha, when there was this transition to CBC, the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, they started constructing classrooms in high school. And by then, the reason why these classrooms were being constructed in high school, they were saying that after the grade 6, grade 7, the primary pupils from grade 7 would transition to the high school side. That is, if they were going to grade 8, they were supposed to go to the high school. And that's why all high schools, they were given money to construct. When the students or the pupils reached grade 7 and they did the exam, they were forced to continue, staying in primary. And remember, there were no classrooms that were built by the government that would then accommodate the grade 8 onwards. Again, there was that problem, and the people of Kenya cried. The government started constructing some primary schools or some classrooms in primary school. Before they even finished, they were building this, having in mind that the grade 8, 9 were then going to be stationed in primary. When the grade 8 did their exams and they were now supposed to go to, is it grade 9 or grade 10? They were then supposed to be taken to high school. The government is still confused. They are still being forced to maintain being in primary. And this is a problem. Currently there is so many pupils or students within the primary, and this is bringing a lot of confusion, and it is becoming so hard for even the teachers to manage. And these are some of the problems which we are talking about.
Who is in the charge of building of classrooms?
Of course, the government is in charge. It is the role of government. It is the government that come up with policies, but of course with the assistance of the parents, but more of it should be done by the government.
But what if the children or the students who are in those particular school are going under pathetic condition in a particular area? Who should cater for the rights and the well-being of those kids, especially when it comes to classrooms?
It is the role of the government to ensure that education is a right. If you remember the basic rights of human beings here in Kenya or of Kenyans, of course, they have got education is one of the basic rights that every Kenyan citizen, has a right to. And it is the role of government to ensure that they put policies and measures which ensures that any student or any pupil in whichever part of the country they are, they get education similar to other children.
Okay. Yeah, and get a chance and watch that by Professor. I think it's called Professor. Is coming all the way from Bomet, and it will shock you big time. I tell you, and it tells you that hii system wenye mashifters waliimba Kalamashaka group mtoto anakula mahindi unasikia harufu ya njugu. Tafakari hayo ni maneno ya ndani. Asante sana Barak, najua nafasi bado tunataka kuongea, lakini hatuwezi kufunga show bila kuongelea mambo ya AU, ambapo itachukua takriban masiku kama 2 hivi, tutakuwa tunapiga kura pale. Maoni yako ni gani kama Wakenya ambao, kuna wale Wakenya ambao wanataka baba ashinde, kuna wale pia wanasema baba asishinde. We maoni yako kama Mkenya vipi?
Maoni yangu kama Mkenya ni baba ashinde. Kwa sababu unajua kiti cha AU, mwenyekiti wa AU ni kiti ambayo ni ya nchi ya Kenya, sio ya mtu binafsi ama ya chama binafsi ama ya kabila binafsi, ni kiti ya nchi. Na naelewa ya kwamba wale Wakenya ambao hawapendi Raila ashinde hii kiti ni wale ambao walikasirishwa wakati ule Raila aliamua kusaidia serikali ya Ruto kukua imara baada ya kukabiliwa na maandamano ya vijana wa Gen Z. Na ile kitu ambao wanafaa waelewe ni kwamba kama unahitaji kiti kama hii ambayo inaenda wanang'ang'ania, ambao uchaguzi iko Jumamosi, ni lazima uungwe mkono na serikali ya nchi yako. Unapelekwa kwanza, serikali ndio inapeana jina lako kule kama mwaniaji wa nchi. Hauendi kule kama mtu binafsi, na hakuna vile serikali ya nchi yako inaweza kuwa haikuungi mkono na uende ukasimame. So hii mambo Raila alikuwa ameanza maneno kabla ya hiyo mambo ya maandamano yanze. Na wakati ule maandamano ilifika, ilibidi asaidie kuimarisha serikali, kwa sababu hiyo ndio ilikuwa lazima serikali peane jina lake kule AU. Kwa hivyo alifanya kitu kwanza, jambo la kwanza ni ya ustaarabu kwake, kwa sababu pia hawezi enda kutaka kiti kwa jumuiya ya kimataifa na wewe nchi yako yenyewe iko mashakani. Kwa sababu watu watajiuliza maswali, kama nchi yako inasambaratika, wewe unakuja unataka kutuongoza, unaongoza nini? Unaongoza nani kwanza? Ni kama vile unaambiwanga hata kwa Biblia kwamba ukitaka kuwa kiongozi wa kanisa lazima ukuwe mtu ambaye unajua kuweka familia yako pamoja. So uongozi unaanzia nyumbani, hauanzii kule nje. Lazima uwe umedhihirisha huo uongozi nyumbani ndio uweze kufanya nini? Kuimarisha kule uongozi kule nje. Kwa hivyo hiyo ilikuwa ni jambo ambalo ilitokea kule, na mimi kama mwananchi wa nchi kama hii, nchi ya Kenya, namtakia kila laheri. Ningependa sana ashinde hiyo kiti ndio aweze kuimarisha jina nchi la Kenya kule katika bara lote la Afrika. Lakini kama pia kwa sababu ni uchaguzi kama ule mwingine, anaweza pia akipoteza pia arudi nyumbani pia. Kazi ipo katika nchi hii, kazi iko mingi, na vile serikali inazidi kuyumbayumba, kazi ipo. Kwa hivyo namtakia kila laheri kule AU, na pia ikishindikana arudi nchini, tuzidi kupambana na ile kazi ambayo tuko nayo hapa.
Okay, asante.
Na nimeona kwamba leo
umeona kwamba
nimeona Jumuiya ya Afrika Kusini inajulikana kama SADC imeandika barua ya kuambia wanachama wake wapigie ule mgombea wa Madagascar kura kule Malagasy. Lakini hayo ni mambo ya kawaida katika international, ukiendelea mambo ya international relations, that is how communication happens. Communication happens officially that us as a bloc we are supporting this candidate, but that is how international relations work. So I know it has really caused a lot of havoc and a lot of panic in the camps of Raila, but that is how international relations work. And let us understand that this is just another election, and we have 3 candidates. And it will not surprise you. You should not be surprised if Raila loses, because it is a competition between 3 people, and not all of them can be elected.
Yeah.
So we wish him well, and we hope that he will be elected. But if he's not elected, we welcome him back home, and we continue with the journey that the way Kalonzo said, of liberating the country from where some people put us in.
Okay, na kuna swali wacha nazungumza na Mako Bura. Kuna swali pia ndakuuliza kwa sababu umesema arudi nyumbani. Inanikumbusha sana mwanamuziki ambayo hata saa hizi naweza sema kwamba alishatangulia mbele ya haki. Alikuwa anaitwa Remi Ongala, narudi nyumbani. Kama umesikia hiyo wimbo basi narudi nyumbani, hiyo ni ya Remi Ongala. So baba asiposhinda tutamuimbia wimbo narudi nyumbani, ama kama si hiyo tutampatia ya Nameless, I'm coming home, you know that, where I belong, narudi nyumbani. Sasa tuko na wimbo mingi ambao labda tu tutamuimbia asiposhinda, na pia akishinda pia kuna nyimbo ambazo tutamuimbia pia. Na kama Mkenya venye umesema hapo awali kwamba hicho kiti si cha mtu binafsi, ni cha nchi. So unapata kwamba ni nchi ya Kenya ambayo inagombea, na hata yale ambayo umesema kwamba SADC wamesema mtu wao lazima apigiwe kura, kwa sababu wanaelewa umuhimu ambao labda vitu ambazo watafaidika ienda ikawa mtu wao ameshinda. Kwanza itawapatia jina, ya pili itakuwa labda wakileta malalamishi yao, ni kawaida wataangaziwa wa kwanza, kwa sababu mtu wao ndio ako pale kama kiongozi. Hicho we Mako Bura, kama Mkenya, we jambo labda unaweza ambia Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga ni vipi?
I would like to take this opportunity to, of course, wish him all the best in his quest for AUC seat or chairperson. I believe that he has what it takes to be a leader. He has what it takes to lead the continent of Africa. I think the good thing, just like I mentioned yesterday, is we need to support him as a country. We need to stand by, his side. We need to pray for him. And, if he manages, of course, it is going to be a win for the country, Kenya. And, it would have, if he wins, it is a way of going to advertise, the country of Kenya to the continent of Africa and also to the whole world. Remember when Barack Obama won in the United States of America, they asked, who is the father? And they were told that the father is a Kenyan. And, Kenya was known out of that. As much as the people did not really get any more benefit, but at least if you go to US and you say that I'm coming from, Kenya, then they will automatically tell you that, oh, that's where our president came from, right? Yeah, so it's a good thing that if he manages, then there's a positive part or a positive thing that it's a positive thing that it would automatically add to us as a people. So the best thing, as much as we have different opinions, this is a Kenyan thing. Let us look it in that perspective. The same way, if someone is going to represent us, the marathoners, go to Europe and say that you're coming from Kenya. They'll tell you that, oh, do you know Kipchoge? It's a good thing. So let's sell Kenya to the continent. Let's sell Kenya to the whole world. It is a good thing. And that is my take on that. I pray to one Raila Amolo Odinga that may God give him and may God permit him to take that opportunity to lead the continent of Africa.
Okay, asante Barak. Swali langu ni je, kwa sababu wakati anaenda kuna habari ambayo inasema kwamba ataandamana ama kuna wabunge kama 100 ambao wanataka kuandamana nao kwenda kuangalia ama kumsimamia kuona jinsi watu wanapiga kura na pia kukaa na yeye kumpatia support kidogo. We hapo kwako unaona vipi? Kwa sababu kuna Wakenya ambao pia wako na maoni tofauti, wanauliza pesa ambao wanatumia ni ya binafsi ama zimetoka katika mfuko wa serikali.
I think Parliament clarified that they are only paying for 4 members of Parliament to to be part of the delegation because of their role in their specific respective committees. But all other Kenyans who are going there, they are going there on their budget. And remember, they're just going there to give moral support to the Honorable Raila Odinga. And having that moral support is very important. And I believe that Ethiopia is not very far from it. I believe we have even individuals who are not even politicians, who are just traveled to Ethiopia, and I hear that hotels are fully booked in Addis Ababa. And if you knock every door, you'll find that the Kenyans have occupied those hotels. So it just shows you how Kenyans are excited about this, and we are hoping that they will bring victory back home. And it's not that every trip that members of parliament make it's the parliament that funds. It depends with, is it a parliamentary trip or is it a private trip? These people travel each and every now and then, yeah. And sometimes they travel as individuals going for their own businesses. Sometimes they travel as a parliamentary business activity. So I don't think that is neither here nor there, because the parliament has already clarified that they are paying only for 4 members of parliament. So any other member of parliament who's going there, they are going there on their own budget, just to show moral support for the Kenyan candidate.
Yeah.
And people don't understand this thing is huge. I'm telling you, because number one, there is no one in the Eastern Africa region who has ever occupied this seat.
Yeah.
This is the first time that they've been offered a chance. That's why you see there's no other candidate from other region of the other parts of Africa. It's only from the eastern part of Africa, because the EU right now is rotating this seat so that every other region is represented. Yeah. So once it comes from Eastern Africa, it will go to another part of Africa. So why can't we be proud as Kenyans that for the first time, a member, an individual from Eastern Africa, and for this matter, a Kenyan is going to occupy this seat, so that we can also feel the way the other regions have been feeling. So it is a huge thing that I'm happy that people who are able to fly to Addis have already gone to Addis, so that they give Raila the moral support that he needs at this moment, and if possible, they come home with victory. We are going to wait to receive them at the JKIA when they are returning home with victory.
Okay, thank you so much. This is what my good friend Mary Wainaina says. These 100 MPs are not really for any use. This is wasteful of funds, should be abolished. Who are they representing? Who are they representing in Addis Ababa, while many problems are eating Kenyans? That's also debatable. Baraka, Makobura, and there's this issue about the China Square in Kisumu. I think if you are on this channel, there was that we captured it yesterday, and there was claim of discrimination, of dismissal, especially for natives of Kisumu, and this issue was addressed. And when you come in a community and you find like the people from that community do not get fair representation or fair equal employment opportunities, and so how can we solve this? Because these are things that usually happens in the country. I don't know whether you heard the news in Kisumu. It has been there for 4 days, and did you heard about the news in Kisumu? Okay, I might.
No.
Yeah, so what was happening in Kisumu 4 days ago is something that has been in the internet for 4 days. There's a China Square, the branch that was operating in Kisumu. It was alleged that the HR who was there was dismissing the natives, especially people from Kisumu, and hiring people from her side, because so this one raised issues, and I think the leaders went there. And people were kind of like getting agitated, and they say, we are giving you like 72 hours. If not, we are coming for you. How does this one impact economy of the area and even employment when there's that disagreement between the natives and the people who are brought in to work? Maybe in a nutshell.
Maybe if you clarify, when you say her side, who are these people who are coming from her
What
side?
what is there? There was a lady who is a HR. She said to be coming from the Rift Valley, and what happens as a hiring under her docket, she was dismissing people from the lake, especially the Luo Nyanza. That was what was written. It was alleged, you know. So he was dismissing this young man and bringing in, especially people from her side or the natives, the people that speak the same language as her. So this one brought problems, and think the leaders had to go in the to have a conversation with the CEO. And one of the resolutions was like the lady was transferred, and they were looking into it, and if this it is true that they were dismissed without proper reasoning, they will be reinstated. So in the nutshell, if that biasness in terms of employment happens, what really can it cause in terms of investing in such like areas?
Normally, the best practice globally is when an investor goes to invest somewhere,
Yeah.
There must be a consideration to the locals when it comes to employment.
Yeah.
That is the best practice globally. Even if you go to invest in, you cannot go and invest in Uganda and carry all employees from Kenya. They will not accept. That is not how things are done. You must give priority to the locals at a certain percentage, so that in case they don't have experts in that local, you can have a certain percentage to export locals, to import locals from elsewhere. But normally, these unskilled jobs must give it to locals. That is why even you've invested in their locality. Because that is how even these multinational corporations work. You cannot invest. For example, open a China Square in Bomet, and they hire all lawyers to work in that place. Surely, the locals will ask questions, because this investment is in our land. Why are we benefiting, or why are we not benefiting from it when it comes to employment? So I believe that it was not a wise decision on the HR side to discriminate the locals, because you cannot do that anywhere in the world. It's not allowed. Because normally investment should benefit the locals first, before it brings in the outsiders. So it was a good thing that the leaders intervened, and the lady was in fact, that person should not be transferred. That person should be fired. I don't know why we like transferring problems to other regions instead of firing, because you find that someone is blatantly breaking the law, and instead of being fired, they are transferred. So it's like you are transferring problems from one region to another region, or from one one specific area to another specific area, instead of dealing with the problem. So I hope that the people of that locality will get justice, and they will benefit from that kind of investment. And going forward, I think people should learn from this. Once you see an injustice happening in your locality, do not keep quiet. Raise up, so that people who are in charge can intervene, and things can be straightened up, instead of just keeping quiet and things are going wrong.
Yeah, actually, the leadership of Kisumu members of parliament visited the place, and they sorted out issue. And the CEO looked scared and ambushed. Yes, like the lakeside sometimes can make you. The lakeside is not. Sometimes it can. I'm also getting this information. I don't know whether you are aware of it. I don't know how true it is that the majority and minority leader were summoned at State House. So maybe they were going to talk things out. So that's why it tells you that we are not still getting it right as a country, because this is a matter of constitutionality. Then why then should they be called in the State House if it is true that happened? Why then should they be called? How is that one going to solve the issues that is at hand in the pronouncement that has been made by the courts?
In a layman's language, we say walienda kupanga kazi.
Kazi lazima ipangwe na Kenya kazi lazima ipangwe, na hiyo hata mimi nadhani kwamba ile maneno wakina Junet wanasema ati things will not. No, I don't think so, because I don't think they have that capacity to stand for the country or to stand for what is right. Because if that one could have been in the onset, even with the broad-based government, they could have taken aside, and talk for the people of Kenya, So that is something that I feel. But now, when sorry, I wanted to, when you come to Wetangula, where is Wetangula stand right now? Because with the way the threshold of impeachment was put in place and how people are behaving, we have the MPs that are supporting Wamunyoro, it's so much risky in that house.
Can I say tell something, Brother Ben?
Yes.
No MPs vote according to how much they've been paid. Even those supporting Rigathi Gachagua, if they will be paid and they will vote in a certain way. Therefore, if Wetangula can be impeached, he will be impeached because Ruto wants him to be impeached, not because of any other person. I can assure you. MPs will be summoned at State House and they will attend that meeting, and when they come out of that meeting, they will be singing a different language. These are people who have been misbehaving. They've not started now. They've been doing the same thing in the last parliament, in the other parliament, and they don't change. I can assure you. Yeah. So if Raila and Ruto summon their troops and they say that Wetangula should go, he will go tomorrow morning, very early in the morning. Yeah. Because they are the people who are controlling these members of parliament. Yeah. They wanted Gachagua out. Gachagua was not able to even to marshal 50 members of parliament from his side. These guys combined members of parliament and he was kicked out immediately. So if they want Wetangula out, I can assure you, yeah, they will just isolate him for 1 week and he's impeached. Yeah, because they have the number, they know how to manipulate these members of parliament. And once they are told to go this direction, they will go that direction running. Yeah. So I will not be surprised because I know Wetangula is hanging on a very he's hanging on a thread. Yeah, hoping that thread will not cut anytime soon, because his fate can be sealed anytime. Yeah. So that's why he's trying as much as he can to be loyal to the president, because that is the person who holds his face at least for the life of this parliament. Because once Ruto dropped that support and joined forces, because ODM members of parliament are goons for hire. Yeah? They can be hired to vote this direction. Even during Gachagua impeachment, they were all hired to vote against Gachagua. And even Babu Wino just said the other day that they were told to vote to impeach Gachagua.
Yeah.
So it means they were called and told, vote this way. And they ran away to that direction, and Gachagua was impeached. They do not use what we call rationality. They just vote because instruction has come from above.
Now, when Makubura, when you look at even early enough, when ANC was merging with the UDA, one of the demands was also for Moses Wetangula to merge his party with the UDA, but he refused. And from the judgment that he's not partial, and even the post is hosting is having like a leader of a political party and a leader in parliament. This can be a very weak avenue for him, for somebody to challenge that, and he can get impeached out of that. What do you think about that?
Just like Baraka said, if Ruto wants him out, if Raila wants him out, they can do it as early as next week. That's a fact. But again, on the issue of Wetangula holding that position of, party leader of his party, and again being a speaker, it is contrary to what the constitution says, yes. But again, Wetangula finds it tough for him to leave the party leadership of Ford Kenya, because he knows very well that is where his his power is. He uses that party to negotiate for positions. If it were not his party, Ford Kenya, he would not be a speaker. And for that reason, he fears that once he leaves the position of being a party leader, then there is a possibility of him being thrown out easily, and him maybe gaining that political power again might be tough for him. Remember, Ford Kenya had issues, political problems some years back, whereby those who left to join DAP Kenya, they were also part of Ford Kenya. And so the conflict that they had was who really was the leader of party of that part, Ford Kenya. So that is really that really made it tough for Wetangula to just release the party, and he's still holding on it, believing that that is the only tool that he has in his hand. That is the only tool that can ensure that he continues having political negotiations, political sharing positions, power sharing positions, and all that.
Okay, thank you so much. This is what Ayaga said. Ayaga, we should tell ODM, or okay, there's that. No, there's the one that I'm so much interested in. There's one that he said we could not. The one that is talking about ODM not impeaching Gachagua. You should tell why. You should tell me why ODM should have not impeached Rigathi Gachagua. Or the reason why we don't know the reason. I don't know. Maybe if you can tell us the reason why he was supposed to be impeached, because Mr. Ayaga. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And maybe Barak, if you have something to add on that before we close the show, maybe, and your last remarks.
My last remarks is that I want to appreciate all who managed to join us and have very kept us engaged on the comment sections. And we really hope that you continue doing the same, and you continue liking and sharing our sessions, and you continue joining us anytime we are live. And just to wind up by wishing Honorable Raila Odinga all the best as he continued to lobby and for support at the AU, and as a country. We hope that we are going to be celebrating the victory because it is Kenyan victory, not an individual victory. Therefore, I just want to wish you all the best wherever you are. I know we are in different time zones, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Until next time tomorrow, look forward to seeing you again. Asanteni sana.
Barak, just one thing, maybe before you fully go.
Yeah.
This, and to you also, Brother Ben.
Yeah.
Some days, 2 or 3 days ago, it was on news that the former CJ, Honorable Maraga,
Yeah.
Honorable Maraga he had started showing some interest in, the presidential seat. And, from that news, we were being told that he has been moving around, behaving in a political way.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you saw that.
Yes,
I just wanted our brother Barak to give us his take on that before he leaves.
You know what I'm laughing at? You're saying he was behaving in a political way. How does someone behave in a political way? Anyway, the Chief Justice Emeritus is one of the most respected citizens of this country. And he's a man of integrity based on how he conducted himself when he was the Chief Justice of this country. And the landmark ruling that he made overturning the election of an incumbent president never happened in this continent, in this part of the world. And he earned a lot of respect for that. Now, the only problem I have with Maraga is that he is a man of integrity, but Kenyans don't love people with integrity when it comes to politics. Kenyans love people who are complicated, people who are vulgar, people who can say anything without caring, people who are shameless, people who are corrupt and thieves and everything. They will complain against you, but when you vie, they elect you. So that is the only challenge that Maraga has in this country, because the voter behavior of Kenyans behave so funnily, because we have men and women of integrity in this land, and one of them is former CJ, that he can be trusted with power, but who will elect him with the kind of voters that we have in this country? Yeah, because people will want to be swing away with emotions and told so many things, and be lied to for them to clap for you. But I don't think Maraga is able to do that. Therefore, he will just be interested in being the president or whatever seat that he wants in this country. But our politics are not meant for people like Maraga. That is the only problem. Our politics are meant for people who look like criminals, people who behave like criminals, people who have bad manners. Yeah. And for you to be elected, you have to be so, I don't know, sluggish and everything. But I will wish to have a president like David Maraga. But he cannot win with only my vote. That is the problem. Can he gain a 50 plus 1% of the votes in Kenya with the kind of voter behavior we have in this country? That's a question to ponder on.
Yes, that is a question that everybody should answer. But I saw it, and he was visited by young people, and one of the songs they did was Sasana Toaro Yangu Kutimkia Inchi. You know that song? It's like a revolutionary song. So, and he was singing it. So, and by Maraga coming in, it just shows that we have so many options that we can choose from, and that one will answer the questions that, and the topic that we were discussing today, Siasa Mbaya, Maisha Mbaya. Kwa sababu mara mingi sana tumekuwa tukisema siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, sisi huwa tunaangalia tu viongozi ambao wanafanya siasa ama viongozi ambao sisi tunawapigia kura. Lakini sisi ambao tunapiga kura hatuangalii sisi, tunaona kwamba hao ndio wamefanya maisha yetu kakawa hivyo. Yeah, so ni kitu vyema na tena ni kitu kizuri sana Maraga mwenyewe kukuja kama hata kujitokeza kwamba ama kuonesha nia kwamba anataka kugombea kiti katika nchi yetu. Yeah, itapatiana wananchi nafasi mzuri sana kuchagua mtu ambaye wanaamini amebeba ama ako na maono mzuri katika nchi, na pia anakuja na historia yake ambao Baraka alikuwa amesema hapo awali, kutoa uamuzi ambao hakuna mtu ambaye ashawaitoa katika Afrika, kwa sababu ukiangalia hata nchi za Afrika uamuzi ambao alitoa ni uamuzi ambao inatumika sana, hata itatumika ama itakuwa historia kubwa katika Afrika. So pia watu watakuwa wanamwangalia kwa jicho la tatu, nasema hivyo. Lakini swali ni je, pale Baraka alikuwa anauliza, sisi kama Wakenya tumefika hiyo nafasi ya kuchagua ule mtu ambaye amebeba maono na amebeba maono ya kutatua changamoto ambao sisi Wakenya tunapitia, ama watu bado watakuwa namuangalia katika ile kiwango cha ukabila, anatoka sehemu gani ya nchi, ako na pesa ngapi na ako na wafuasi inatoshana aje? Kama hizo ndio swali ambao labda kama wananchi tutakuwa tunauliza, basi tutakuwa bado tuko nyuma zaidi, bado hatujafika ile kiwango ambao tunataka Kenya ifike. Hiyo ndio sasa maoni yangu. Makobura, back to you.
Okay, thank you. And just the way you've put it, I also gave reasons or ways in which if maybe we look at things, then there's a possibility that we are going to change the Republic of Kenya. Among the reasons that are listed were we need to have an electoral system that is free, fair, and a technology that is trusted. We also need to ensure that the youths, wherever they are, they have the right to participate in the political activities, and they need to be aware of what is happening. Again, something else that I also talked about is ensuring that the institutions which are mandated, like the EACC, we need to empower them and to ensure that we as a people, whenever we walk to these offices, we have to remind those who are trying to, take us back, those who are trying to, put corruption, maybe like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
If we do so, there's a possibility that we are going to change so many things in the Republic of Kenya. And that is my take.
Okay.
Can
Makubura.
I say,
Okay.
can I say something
Yes.
on what Makubura has said? You know, there is this thing that it's a perception that we have that we need to have to invest in technology to ensure that we have a free and fair election. You know, the problem is not the technology that we are using. The problem is not the way we are doing our election.
Yeah.
The problem we have is trust deficit. You cannot solve trust deficit by increasing technology, because technology is not the problem. The problem is trust. We do not trust anything when it comes to politics. Yeah. You know, we used to cast our votes in the black box. We started with Mlolongo system. Mlolongo system was done away with. We started casting our votes in black boxes that was being carried to the tallying center to be counted. We did away with that. We now started coming up with transparent boxes. After that, we now came up with technology where you just vote, we take a photo, and we submit to the portal. Surely, how far can we go? The problem is not technology. The problem is trust deficit. Kenyans, we are very suspicious when it comes to election. We don't trust the agents. We don't trust the clerks. We don't trust the presiding officers. We don't trust the returning officers. We don't trust even the commissioners. We don't trust anything. We don't trust the police. We don't even trust ourselves with those votes. That is why we will continue having problems when it comes to electoral systems. Even because if you look at our election is the most expensive in Africa and even some parts of Europe. Our election is the most expensive, yeah, because of this trying to tighten to guard it, but that has not worked because of trust deficit. Where on earth have you seen 3 commissioners declaring election and 4 commissioners are on a different location declaring different things? It only happens in Kenya because we do not, and it casts a lot of doubt even to the whole process. Yeah. So when will we build trust in our institutions, in our systems, so that we can agree with the outcome? Because even if we come up with the best technology in the world, yeah, and we don't have trust on the same technology, we will not agree with the results. Yeah. If you see, like in the US, they start voting more than 1 week to the voting day. Yeah, and they vote and they leave. They know that the process is fine. They trust the process and they will agree with the results. Yeah, but us unamwanga piga kura na ulinde hiyo kura, usitoke hapo. So unalinda kura, matokeo yanatoka, bado haukubali because we don't trust the system. We don't trust each other. So my point is, can we work on the trust so that we solve so many problems? We will not even be wasting a lot of money in elections because we invest so much in it because we don't trust anything. We don't trust anybody. So if we work on the trust issue, we will have solved so many things and we'll even save our shillings.
Okay, just a minute, Brother Ben. Baraka, I fully agree with what you're saying, and I fully support that. But when I said that we need to do more of technological improvement, I meant that, part of the reason why young people are not voting is because the level of laziness in them is too high. They find it too tough to go and line up, the whole day just to vote. And that is the excuse that some of them are giving. And again, remember, there's also an old generation in the Republic of Kenya that some of them are really interested in the politics of the day. They want to participate, but it could be either health or age has made them not to manage. I want to tell you here, I was and I'm still a student of technology, ICT. I know what ICT can do. I don't think with this generation and with the knowledge that we have, this thing should be simplified.
Okay.
it should be made in a way that whether from the comfort of where you are, you can just, get yourself maybe whatever it's needed, and then you vote, and that goes. That way, I think would have made a good progress, and will ensure that everyone participates, because it is so tiresome. Just like I've said, that personally I've been voting in my rural home. I travel all the way from Nairobi to my rural home, just because I know that I need to participate in this. It is, we can cast all this cost and everything. That is what I meant. I was not saying that I didn't have any other thought, but that is what I was trying to explain. That is what I meant.
Wacha nijibu Makobura alafu utakuja. Makobura, mimi nakubaliana na wewe, lakini kuna ile demokrasia ambayo sisi kama Wakenya tunaitamani, lakini naona kama iko katika demokrasia ya mawazo. We are having what we call imaginary democracy, or imaginary on how things should work, like the countries that have really developed. When you talk of lines, when you talk about the IT, I don't think as a country we've reached a point whereby we can have that sophisticated IT based on the leadership that we have, and some of this imaginary that we have are based on what our leaders do tell us. I can remember very well when the 2010 constitution was being campaigned so for us we can pass it. I can remember people were saying that polisi anaweza kuja, tukipitisha hii polisi atakuwa na kushika, atakuliza. Unaona? Na ni mafikira waliweka kwa watu, lakini napata sisi wenyewe hatujafika mahali ambapo tumefika hapo kulingana na system ambayo sisi tuko nayo. Ndio ile bado nilikuwa nakwambia ni siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. Ukikuja ukisema kwamba mavijana, unapata kwamba mavijana are like do I call it lazy or not, or do they not want to go to those lines? This is because you still do not know why, the reason why you need to vote. If you know the reason why you need to vote, then it will take you all days. Look at the history of America, where they've reached, coming from the voting rights to where they are today. If that laziness was in them, they could have not achieved that. That democracy that every country wants to have, it was not a democracy, or it was not a system that was actualized in one day. It was a journey that started with a step, with full implementation and the love for the country that they are fighting for. They received it and they got it. Yeah. So which means as a country, we need to embrace, even when it comes to technology. Barack has spoken well. When that trust is not there, the technology is okay. If you look at in African states, we could say that Kenyan election, when it comes to technology system, even right now as we speak, among the African countries with the best technology system, even with the internet, Kenya is ranked as one of them. But that trust, kikaragosi, kiongozi anataka lazima mtu wake akue katika IBC ambao anataka kusimamia maslahi yake, si maslahi ya wananchi. Ndio maana nilikuambia katika ile Mwalimu Nyerere alisema Tanzania anaangalia mgombea ambaye atakidhi maoni ya Mtanzania, si maoni yake. Kama viongozi wetu ambao wanachagua hao watu ambao wako katika IBC, wanachagua hao watu ambao watakidhi maoni yao, basi kama nchi hakuna kitu ambacho tutaendelea kisiasa ama katika uchaguzi wetu ya mfumo. Lakini kama wale ambao wamewekwa katika hizo ofisi za IBC wataangalia maslahi ya Mkenya ambao yuko Turukana, maslahi ya Kenya ambao yuko Samburu akipiga kura, basi tutapata hiyo, tutajibu hiyo swali.
I think Ben has really spoken almost everything that I wanted to say, especially when you say that young people are lazy, ati hawezi piga kura. Ni kwa sababu hawaelewi umuhimu wa hiyo kupiga kura. Unaelewa? Voter apathy happens in this country in certain regions higher than other regions. Kwa sababu gani? There are some regions that even if you are sick, vile umesema siku na mtu mzee ako na health issues, they will carry you on a wheelbarrow, and you don't queue because you have health issues, mpaka kwa voting center, polling station, and you will vote on a wheelbarrow. hata kama mama amezaa leo asubuhi ama amezaa, watambeba mpaka kwa polling station apige kura. Kwa sababu gani? They understand the importance of that vote. But ukisema ati these guys are lazy, they cannot queue for long, my friend, democracy is very expensive. It is not cheap. And for you to say that we are a democratic society, you must be able to pay the price for that democracy. Unaelewa? You must be able to queue so that your voice can be heard. Na hii mambo ya kusemanga ati results have already been known. It is a narrative to discourage, and vote rigging happens in many ways. Sio tu kuiba kura peke yake. Even discouraging people to vote is one way of vote rigging. Yeah? Unaambia tu mnapiga kura ya nini na kura ilishapigwa jana. Tulishajua mwenye anashinda. And we are now saying why should I vote? Already they know the winner. Your vote has already been rigged. Unaelewa? So people must understand their responsibility in a democratic society. And one of the most important responsibilities of a citizen in a democratic society is to vote. You make your decision. Yes, because your voice counts. That vote counts. Unaelewa? And I can assure you, Kenya has made a very significant growth in terms of democracy, democratic growth. Our level of democracy, you cannot compare it with any of our neighbors in Eastern Africa. You cannot. Many countries in Eastern Africa are ruled or are autocrats or authoritarian, but Kenya is a democracy because even though we have some few challenges in electoral system, but we have successfully managed to transition power from one regime to another successfully for more than 3 times. That's a very significant growth. So it is upon the young people to ensure that democracy grows from where we are to the next level. But it cannot grow if you're not taking part in it, if you're not contributing, if you're saying that you cannot queue because you are lazy. My friend, we cannot grow democracy. Nimecheka nikisikia Maka akisema ati I've been voting severally at home. How many times have you voted? Voted only once in your lifetime, and you are already saying you have been voting.
Not once.
I used to go to Kibuye Market to buy clothes. I was there last year. Gladys Wanga had not. Kibuye Market is under Anyang' Nyong'o. Maybe check on that. Anyang' Nyong'o is under Anyang' Pro, the good professor. Okay, let me take this opportunity today to thank our viewers, especially in the comment section. 1dem99, thank you so much for joining. Gibson Connor, thank you. And Mary Wainaina, thank you so much for being part of our team. And we really, really appreciate your time and everything. We are winding up. So maybe if you have something that you want to share with us on the comment section, we are very, 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 very happy to. I thought Wanga presides on her market. Abala. Oh, okay. Now what you're talking about. Sorry. Okay. It should be Abala Wanga, the city manager. There's this Gladys Wanga, the governor, and there's Abala Wanga, the city manager. So the city manager usually anaangalia hizo mambo za to upgrade the town, the clean city. So that's I thought maybe I might stand corrected. So Mr. Barak and Makobura and all our viewers, thank you so much for being with me or being with us on this session today. And if you're new in Brother Benson channel, kindly subscribe so that when we go live, you can be part of the discussion for this great country of Kenya, and your inputs will be put in consideration. And may God bless you all. Thank you so much.